Well, what's marketing's goal then? You're selling out. You could easily, maybe do less and still sell out, and you have this waiting list and all this stuff. Number one goal, grow, strengthen, and protect our brand. And I say these words deliberately. Grow. We need more fans. There's a number that I literally think about every day, and I lose sleep over every night, and that is this. We right now have about 1 million Lightning fans. That number has grown exponentially over the past several years. And when I say a fan, by our research standards, it's watch a game, attend, listen, have merchandise, interact on digital and social media, right? There are 3.5 million people in this market. That means there's 2.5 million people that are not Lightning fans. That number blows me away. Like, I look at it, and there's only 2 of you in the room, but I look at that number, I'm like, how have you not been given the opportunity to come to a game yet? Now, maybe you just moved here. Maybe the season hasn't started. I'm hoping that's what it is. But the reality is there are people in this market that are not Lightning fans, and I'm like, well, what are you waiting for? Well, our opportunity exists with those people. So growing the brand is easy. We need more fans. We need more fans. We count as a fan, these are Lightning fans, not hockey fans. Now, the delineation is not as fine as you would think. This market has a lot of hockey fans, but years ago, they weren't Lightning fans. And it is taking a lot to get to that point. We jokingly call some of our fans jersey flippers. And what I mean by that is they will root for the Lightning for 40 games, and then Pat and I will see them, and then one game when their hometown team comes, they flip their jersey and are rooting against us. It irks me, don't get me wrong, it does, but we have to look at that as a win, that they're actually with us 95% of the time. I'll tell you what upsets me is when I see a mom and a dad wearing Ranger jerseys, for example, and they live here, and their kids are wearing Ranger jersey. That upsets me. What makes me happy is when their kids are wearing Lightning uniforms, right? And it's only because I'm somewhat biased, but if you grew up in New York and you enjoyed being a Ranger fan, and you went to games, or you listened on radio with your dad, or you went to the mall and saw a player, or you talked about hockey with your friends and watched games together, guess what? That experience will never, ever happen if your kid is a Ranger fan in Tampa. It'll never happen. They will be the outlier. So let them enjoy being a hockey fan like you did of the local team, right? Interesting side note, I did a presentation at my kids' school one day. To be fair, they were kindergarten kids. And I was giving a presentation with them, and this one kid told me, I'm a Buffalo Sabre fan. And I looked at him and I said, guess what? Have you ever been to Buffalo? And he says, no. It's a cold, dreary place. You would hate it. And their team is awful. True story. I haven't been asked back at that class, by the way. But true story nonetheless. And when I handed out free Lightning pucks to all the kids, it just happened to run out when he came. Anyway, strengthen. Very important, but I can say this quickly. Strengthening the brand. The best example I can give is this. If I see someone wearing a Lightning t-shirt on the street, that is awesome. Chances are I didn't force it on them. I didn't make them wear it, but they're wearing a Lightning shirt. I need them to go get a jersey. And what I mean by that is, in Florida, there is no practical reason why anyone should have a hockey jersey unless you're that much of a fan. It's bulky, it's expensive, doesn't go with everything else you're wearing, it's hot. But if you have a jersey on, I got you. You're in. You're part of the tribe. That's what we want. We need to strengthen the bond that exists with our current fans. Finally, the last one, super easy, protect our brand. As I've mentioned a lot, brand is paramount to everything that we do. We're an organization that is very active and aggressive in the market on a lot of different levels. So it's important for us to make sure that we're protecting the brand and making sure it's represented the way we want it to be represented. The best example I can give you with this is, so we have a partner, I'll use Chase as an example. Chase Bank is a major partner of ours. They do a lot of things for us, but one of the things that they do with us is that they are tied into community engagement programs. There is money set aside in their budget that could go to other things within our organization that would come right back to us, but instead that money is allocated to do things in the community because we want partners to engage in the community as we do. We want partners to believe that that's the right thing to do. I've seen us walk away from deals where some partners don't believe that. Some partners say, you know what? I just need the advertising. I just need the impressions. I just need the eyeballs. I don't need to do a community event for 50 kids where no one's going to know what we're doing. Well, that's okay. That's fine, but that's not who we are. So protecting our brand is important and aligning ourselves with the right people. At the end of the day, we're not a nonprofit organization. We may do a lot of things that are good in the community, but the reality is we have to generate revenue. We have to find new revenue, increase revenues, because our expenses continue to go up significantly. If you think about it, the salary cap in hockey alone goes up anywhere between $3 to $5 million. Every year, our expenses going up $3 to $5 million. That's just the way it is. And that doesn't include everything else that's going up. But this is paramount. We have to generate revenue. And again, because of Mr. Vinnick and who he is, we know whatever revenue we're generating is just going back in the community or back in the team. This is how our marketing department is kind of broken out. These are the areas that we're responsible for as an organization. And again, we'll send this stuff to you. From an organizational standpoint, Mr. Vinnick is basically the straw that stirs the drink. Our organization has taken on the personality of him. And in this case, it's a fantastic thing. And what I mean by that is that we often talk about what is the right thing to do. What would Mr. Vinnick do? And again, I'll give you another quick anecdote. About a year ago, we had the hurricane scare. And as most of you that are living here locally, nothing really happened, but there was a scare nonetheless. Well, we had, I think, 2 or 3 events scheduled that weekend, right? We have roughly 700 part-timers that work for us. All the ancillary positions that we do around events, right? And a lot of them are students, some of them are elderly, some of them just need a second job. So all these people were there because they need the money, right? Well, we canceled all those events that weekend. Canceled them because we had to, right? We thought maybe a hurricane was coming or whatever. So we canceled the events. We came into the office, I think, Monday or Tuesday, and I sat in an executive meeting, and the first thing on the agenda was part-timer compensation. And we all were like, well, what is this? So our CEO comes up and says, okay, just to let everyone know, we're paying all the part-time employees for this weekend. And I think it was a finance guy. Anyway, I'll blame the finance guy on this story. That said, well, why would we do that? We literally didn't make any revenue. We lost money by not having events that we budgeted for. And now you want to pay out the employees. Why would we do that? And the CEO says, because it's the right thing to do. That's what Mr. Vinnick would want us to do. So we did it. So from a marketing standpoint, I'll bring it together. When we look at our marketing budget, it's very easy when things are going really, really well to trim back on marketing. Trust me, I have this conversation every year with my CRO, the CEO, and the CFO. I walk in there and say, this is how much money I want to do what I want to do. Now, I lead the witness a little bit and I say, look, if you're going to tell me that all I have to do is sell the last 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 tickets, that's all I have to do, you can cut my budget in half because I don't need it all. Because you know what? The things that Pat is going to talk to you about is more than enough to sell those tickets out. But if you go back to what my number one goal was, to grow, strengthen, and protect our brand, if those are the things that's important to this organization, then that's why we need to be able to do what we do from a marketing standpoint. That's why if you're living in Tampa, if we're doing our job, come October, it should start to feel like a Lightning market again. Come playoff time, and we're very fortunate to be in the playoffs for the past few years, it should start feeling like a Lightning market. I can tell you right now, there's more Bucks fans and there's more Rays fans. I see the numbers. Blows me away, but I see the numbers. It's not even close. But it feels like a Lightning market, right? It kind of feels like it. Well, that's because our owner and our leadership allows us to do what we do from a marketing standpoint. Now, I often say this, and this is where the pressure goes to Pat. If Pat and his team isn't doing their job and legitimately generating revenue and being able to track it and move and shift and adapt, then all the other things we do in the market won't matter as much.